It was my first time working with kids of this age group, so I did like intentionally choose something that would be a bit simpler for both me and for them. And I knew the project was taking place during spring, but I decided to base the project around leaves to kind of have something simple to introduce them to a couple of different art elements like dry and shape and color, and then showing them other art disciplines like doing the print relief towards the end. So the first day we just, with masking tape, they all took lengths of tape and just made Limerick City, which we've replicated out there in the exhibition. And that was really interesting because I had a bird and each of them flew the bird over and they had to tell me what they saw. So there was, one girl had been at the hospital the day before. You have to put a hospital in. I was at the hospital yesterday.
So we sticked and sellotape on the ground so we can make roads. Then we put like rivers, lakes, and all sorts of stuff like houses, cars. We put them on the map to make a world.
I suppose we were with the projects. For Molly was leading in my class, using all of the natural materials like the leaves. Like they're all very easily accessible, so they're nice things for me as a teacher that I could use again with the leaf rubbings and her whole idea of like working on the motion and the movement with the bigger pieces of carriage, and even going into the holla using that big space because that wouldn't really have occurred to me. It's lovely to think that you could change the environment from the classroom, maybe go outside on a nice day and do things out there. Definitely at the end, getting to actually go to the art college and see the Monaleen, seeing even the sign that for Monaleen NS exhibition.
We wanted it to be an experience for them to kind of, open the doors and in you go. And Jerry, a classmate of mine, videoed them coming in. So it was lovely. And it was a moment of, all the adults just standing there and them just interacting. And that's what it was about. At the 11th hour, we decided we'd do a sign-in book so they could say that they were there. And like they noticed like the different materials that were there. And like one of the kids pointed out that someone was using textiles and had like the knitting there. There was a painting of like a big eyeball, and some of them were like, but then other ones are like, whoa, that's really cool. And I think they were like surprised to see some of the paintings up. So we've made the miniature bedrooms with them, so they had to draw them out. Then they had to make the clay of them, and then they had to paint. Then they had to actually build everything together, and now the final process, which is the photograph.
Well, we started off making clay, like we had like all of these clutters, and then once the clay got dry after a week, we started painting it, and then we painted like the whole thing, and it was so much fun. And then once we got home with my clay, my mom dropped it.
We'd be like, okay, so you're going to draw using a bird's eye perspective and then front view perspective. And they'd be like, I don't know what that is. So then they draw like their bed flat and then their like bedside table like the other way, the other perspective. So those drawings are really nice. I think that they were one of my favorites actually of the whole thing. Because even like looking at them, it's just really like interesting. It kind of breaks the rules of art that you're taught in art college. So I found myself doing that a little bit in my own drawings, and I was like, well, that's really interesting. It's not tainted yet, or something like by the art world. So I feel like when you go into art college, or like when you become an artist, you're trying to learn all this stuff while also working as an artist and trying to find out try to get back to where you were when you were young. I think it's good for children to see that artists aren't just the famous ones that people talk about, like Dora Leaves, and all that they're real people in art college in Limerick, and it is accessible and it is a dream that can come true if you want to follow that path. It was a fun experience, and like even my favourite bits were just afterwards we'd reflect on it. Mm-hmm. And that was a nice bonding thing for you and I as well. It was just kind of like you go in, you do the activity, you're with the kids, you're having conversations with the kids, which is so important because I never got to do that before. I think it was really good experience. We were talking about it today, we were like saying, oh, we had a great placement. And I think if people were to ask, should they do it, I would say they should do something or do something similar. As an artist, I think once you should work with kids and see them with art, different people with interacting with art. not just in college where you're surrounded by people who are artists. Because everyone can be an artist a little bit, like I feel. Everyone has got a little bit in them, even if they say they're not when they're older, you know? It's lovely to see a new face coming in, a new perspective. And obviously for the art students coming in, they hadn't had the experience of being in the classroom before. So it was really interesting even getting to chat with them. They were looking at the way we would do, say, caller responses just to get their attention and stuff. And to see them grow in confidence as the weeks went on with that, like with the clapping or 1, 2, 3 eyes on me, little things that they had picked up from the few weeks was really nice to see. And we definitely learned from them as well. I think going to the art college as well, it was nice for the children to see, oh, this is an option for when I grow up, that I could go to art college, I could become an artist, you know?
The art students had the language of creativity, and it was magical creativity. I was out on the yard today, and some of the project work that Molly was doing with leaves, they were making vines and they were threading the leaves through. The children were actually outside in the musical playground today, recreating that and playing together. So that's what the art students have done. Not only provided them with new skills, a tactile experience, it's well-being as well out in the yard. So it's been an amazing journey.
Is that where you?
This is where I am. This is my friend Kathy. No, these are her works. Isn't she amazing?
Yeah. What have you made?
I've made my canvas. So I have this big one that I'm working on.